Quinoa has always been an important crop in Bolivia and Latin America. As its popularity grows around the world, consumers can help preserve Bolivia's environment and support Bolivian quinoa farmers by purchasing fair trade certified quinoa products. An Incan legend tells the story of how quinoa came to be. A hungry fox traveled up to the heavens to visit the gods, and while there ate a meal of quinoa. As the fox returned to earth, parrots saw him and were jealous of his full belly. The parrots pecked at the fox's rope, and he fell to the mountains below. As the fox fell, the quinoa he had eaten scattered all across the Andes. The quinoa seeds landed in the soil and began to grow. This mother grain soon became a staple food for Incans, Bolivians, and others in Latin America. Quinoa is a unique plant. It grows in the sandy soil and extremely cold and dry conditions of Bolivia's altiplano or high plains where most other crops cannot survive. Although it is cooked and eaten like a grain, quinoa is technically a seed and is related to spinach, chard, and beets. Quinoa is nutrient-dense, rich in complete proteins and many vitamins and minerals. Because of this, it is an important part of gluten-free vegetarian and vegan diets. Quinoa has been deemed a healthier alternative to traditional grains and endorsed by government-sponsored initiatives that use quinoa in food support programs. Unfortunately, quinoa's rising popularity has increased consequences for Southern Hemisphere growers. As quinoa entered global trade as a prized food commodity, its price rose in response to increased demand. The price of quinoa has tripled since 2006. While increased income is a benefit to quinoa farmers, this has several nutrition and health consequences for Bolivians. Farmers in the Altiplano are planting more quinoa and fewer other crops, which reduces the diversity of food available to their families. Farmers of less popular crops can no longer afford to include quinoa in their diets after centuries of its consumption as a staple. Across Bolivia and other Latin American countries, quinoa has become more expensive than imported junk food and even chicken. Quinoa is now one of the most lucrative crops for South American farmers. Increasing global demand provides farmers with great incentives to abandon traditional farming practices and plant monocultures of quinoa for export. Indigenous production methods were more eco-friendly than some of the more conventional methods used to increase quinoa production. Andean farmers traditionally adapted and selected varieties of quinoa to reduce their vulnerability to a range of environmental risks. Traditionally, llamas played a crucial role in quinoa production. As farmers convert to conventional quinoa production, intense quinoa farming is creating barren deserts in what were once biologically diverse pastures. These farming changes related to quinoa are not sustainable and threaten the environment, local economies, and food security of Bolivian farmers. Proliferating quinoa cultivation is creating land conflicts in Bolivia. Traditionally, there was enough land for everyone without legal ownership. However, today, land for quinoa cultivation is the subject of many legal and physical battles. What can be done to avoid such conflicts? Consumers around the world are increasingly interested in the environmental sustainability and social equity of their food purchases. Purchasing fair trade certified products is one way consumers can purchase products that align with their beliefs and values. Fair trade organizations seek to improve the livelihood and well-being of producers through partnerships and market development. They fight for disadvantaged producers, especially women and indigenous people. Fair trade companies work with producer cooperatives to create agreements based in partnership and transparency. Fair trade products are grown with environmentally sound production practices. Fair trade quinoa agreements support traditional quinoa production methods and support research to improve yields while maintaining ecosystem health. La Yapa and Alter Ego are two of the major fair trade quinoa suppliers currently sold in the United States. In conjunction with farmer education and sustainable agricultural policies, support for fair trade certification of quinoa will improve Bolivia's environment and economy and allow consumers to benefit from this healthy, versatile product.